I'm Jane Solomon, one of the BioField Reader trainers, and we're going to go through basic analysis of the BioField using the BioField Reader imaging system. There's other video tutorials that you can look at to help you get going with BioField imaging, starting off with setting up your environment and your lighting, which cameras to use and camera settings, also how to position the subject for scanning, and this one on basic analysis of the BioField. There's lots of information in the user manual which you can download free from our homepage on our website, which is biofieldimaging.com. There's lots of information in the user manual which isn't included in this tutorial, so for a good overview, have a look at the user manual as well as watching this tutorial. Basic analysis involves looking at the colours and patterns on and around the body, and each therapist will have their own perspective. Some therapists might want to look at the BioField as a whole, others may want to look at specific areas. So the analysis differs according to the therapy that you practice. So if you practice physiotherapy, sports massage, osteopathy, chiropractic, you'll be more interested in looking at the spine and the muscles. If you practice acupuncture and shiatsu, you'll be more interested in looking at the meridians and the acupuncture points. So from, say, a physiotherapist or an osteopath's point of view, if we look at this top left picture, can clearly see where this man's got congested areas. This red congested band at the back of his neck is where he had pain. He also had pain here and in his left shoulder. We have got some red congested energy or light over his right shoulder, but at this stage he didn't have any pain there. If we look at the scan of the woman here, can see that she's clearly got a red congested spot on her back here. Should be of interest to one of these therapists, and also she had pain in this area where there's this red band going across the back. This lady on the right had neck pain, arm pain and thumb pain, particularly had pain in her right thumb, and on palpation she was very tender around large intestine 11 acupuncture point, which is here and here. In these areas we can see there's a little red congested spot surrounded by this turquoisey blue, which shows there's an imbalance in that area. You can see that the large intestine meridian coming down the arm is blocked, and if we look here we can see there's a line of mauve, and mauve shows a more chronic imbalance in the energy field. Mauve is like red that's been there for longer. If you practice reflexology, you'll be looking at the feet, possibly the whole body as well, maybe the hands. Many reflexologists say that they find it very useful to take scans of the feet before and after treatment, and they can show their clients where changes and improvements have occurred. So here the green shows areas of balance, the mauve and the red show areas of imbalance, and then once after therapy the therapy's had time to kick in, you'll see changes, positive changes on the feet with more green and less red and mauve congested energy. If you practice nutritional therapy, you'll be interested in looking at the organs of digestion and elimination. And here's an example of a young man who had problems with his stomach. He had acid stomach and indigestion. You can see the red congestion is solar plexus. He also had diarrhea. He thinks he might have picked up an infection in his travels around the world. Got this mauve congested energy here and in the meridians of the arms. If you practice counselling, then you may be interested to look at the energy or the light around areas of stress, which are commonly solar plexus, and the emotional centres. So each centre relates to a different emotion or aspect of the personality. And often you can see areas improving, becoming less red and more green as therapy progresses. The best way to get started on analysis is to start scanning and choose somebody young and healthy, maybe a family member or a friend. This will give you an idea of what a relatively balanced field looks like, and it will help you gain confidence. Remember though that we're all human and we all have areas of imbalance, and I've yet to meet the perfect biofield or person with a biofield. Here's a picture of a man, relatively well balanced. We've got symmetry in the field, it's vibrant, no major problems there. Just set out a few scans. On the left we've got more balanced fields which show lots of vibrant green, yellow and orange with some blue. There is red seen, but it's mostly flowing in thin red bands, and they'll be vertical. The less balance here on the right, less vibrant generally, more red may be seen in congested pools or horizontally across the body. Think back to that man with his neck, that horizontal band across the back of his neck. The energy was not flowing. So, young boy, no problems, lots of green and yellow and orange. On the right, a young girl with a cold. She got blocked, painful sinuses, can see by the red congested energy, sore throat, and interestingly she's got these vertical striations around the neck. We commonly see them when people say they have neck tension or upper back tension in the muscles. This young man, no problems with digestions or breathing. On the right here, this young man had problems with digestion and lived in a very polluted environment. You can see his field is generally less vibrant, is slightly dull, and he's got lots of pockets of red energy, particularly over his intestines here. This is a young man who's fit, athletic, and this is a young woman who unfortunately had a car accident and was badly burned on her legs and had to have skin grafts, and you can clearly see the difference between the two fields. This is a reddy mauve really, and very blocked. Symmetry is important, so you need to be looking out for that. Healthy individuals tend to have more symmetrical biofields, and we can see the symmetry in the light and colours around and over the body, also over the energy centres or chakras, and in the energy lines of vitality, that's the meridians or the channels. Here's an example of symmetry and asymmetry. So it's two young men, you can see their backs. On the left we've got symmetrical field, symmetry of colours and patterns, and he reported no back problems. Lots of lovely green, and the red is flowing fairly thin bands, and it's flowing vertically. On the right we've got an example of an asymmetric field. This young man had painful upper and lower back, and we can see asymmetry here in this area, here, and also something interesting going here. Maybe on palpation there might be some tight muscle bands. We also look at patterns and shapes to help us determine if the energy is balanced. The energy centres or chakras are not always visible, but when they are visible they may be regular in shape, which suggests they're more balanced, or they may be irregular in shape or jagged, which suggests they're imbalanced. I've just put a couple of bits of the charts which you can see in the user manual here. You can pause the video if you want to read them. I'm not going to go into them in detail because they are in the manual. So this is around the body, and around the body will be, if you're looking at somebody from the front or the back, it will be the light biofield above them and to either side, and if you're doing profile shots you'll be seeing the energy at the front and the back of the body, and above it, that will be around the body. So it depends on your viewpoint. So generally more balanced fields are symmetrical, the bands are brighter and they're smoother and more coherent, and there's less streamers and bulges of energy. You can see these streamers and bulges particularly on profile shots, but you can see them at the front and the back of the body, and there's lots in the user manual about them, and it explains in there what they actually are. And there's a chart also for analysing the colours and patterns on or over the body. So this is, if you're looking at the front or the back particularly, it'll be the patterns and colours that appear to be on or over the body. And what's important to point out here, it's good in a more balanced field, you'll see all colours represented. In a less balanced field, you'll see lack of certain colours. Do have a read of that. Thought it would be a good idea to look at some of the energy centres or chakras, just to look at balance and imbalance. So start off with the crown and the brow centres. The crown chakra is difficult to see through hair, particularly dark hair. When it's balanced, it tends to be more violet, gold or pale blue, and there's an absence of red or mauve. If you get a lot of white around the head, it might be that you've got white out, and that's explained in the user manual. That's where you've got too much light in the scanning environment. If we start bottom right here, this is a man with dark hair, but we can this is the back of his head and this is his neck. Can clearly see that the energy around the crown is blocked by these red pools of light. Also, the energy of the whole head is quite dull, and we've got red in the hair as well. If we look at this woman who's got dark hair, it's very difficult to distinguish any colours or patterns, but I've included this picture because it shows that her crown energy is blocked. She's got this red haze above her head and it connects with the top of her head. If we look here, this is a young boy with fair hair, and it's often easier to see patterns and colours through fair hair. This is his ears, this is his head, this is his neck and his shoulders. The actual energy is extending outside of his neck. It makes it difficult to see it once the filter's applied. You can see the blocked crown energy, and there's also something going on here. Up here we've got a man who's got a blocked brow chakra shown by this congested red pool, and he's also got congested throat. We can see by the circle of light here and around the neck. Looking at the throat, it's important for me to say that because of the chin, you can sometimes get a little bit of shadow under the chin on the throat, but it'd be quite near to the top of the neck. But generally I haven't seen many well balanced throat chakras. If they were completely well balanced, they'd either be all green or all blue. That would indicate relative balance, and there wouldn't be any red present. But I've got some good examples here to show you of throat chakras that aren't balanced. So this lady here on the left, she's got asymmetrical throat energy. It's irregular, constricted, jagged, and we've got red congested energy. She had thyroid problems. Up on the right, we've got some lovely green showing in the throat, but unfortunately we've got a rim of red around it and around the lower jaw, which shows that the area is not balanced, and also some red on her cheek, maybe some dental issues there or fillings. The woman on the bottom right, we have got some blue showing, but again we've got an asymmetrical jagged throat energy centre. So the red shows congestion, and the mauve suggests chronic red congestion, chronic imbalance, red that's been there for some time. She's got red vertical striations around her neck, which suggest neck tension or upper back muscle tension, and we often see necklaces, what we call necklaces of red, around the front of the throat when people have got neck tension. Also reflect the top front upper chest tension as well in the muscles. Looking at the heart chakra, it's not often seen when it's perfectly balanced. It's more often defined when it's out of balance. Again, I've got this lady we've seen in previous scans. She's got asymmetrical heart energy centre, the same with the solar plexus and the navel. and we've got a lot of red energy present. If we come over to the right, there's two young men. We can't clearly see a well-defined heart energy centre, but the colours and patterns suggest that the areas are balanced. Sometimes you can see lovely green or yellow or orange in the heart energy centre when it's balanced. Now looking at the solar plexus and navel energy centres, on the left here at the top we've got good example of solar plexus and navel centres which are regular, not jagged, vibrant green. So the solar plexus centre tends to be more circular and the navel centre more elliptical when they're balanced. And if we compare the two pictures, this bottom picture is of a less balanced field. We've got a lot less vibrancy, we've got jagged shapes to the two chakras, red borders. This lady wouldn't have an awful lot of energy, may well have problems in that area. Over on the right we've got the scan of a healthy young man. Solar plexus and navel energy centres are not clearly defined, but the colours suggest balance. The base chakra or energy centre is not often seen when it's perfectly balanced. That may well be because of its position at the base of the spine. When it's more balanced, you'll be seeing green in that area, the lower back, and maybe over the front of the pelvis. Its energy is more often seen when it's out of balance. So this is a lady who had problems in pelvic region, and we can see we've got red jagged lines flowing horizontally across the base of the spine area. We've got red and mauve between the legs at the top of the thighs. We've got a leakage of red here, and on the profile we've just got two arrows showing leakage of red energy from the front of the pelvis and from the base of the spine. She had issues with bladder problems and she'd had a hysterectomy in the past. So that's an out of balance base centre. Going back to symmetry, don't be fooled that just because the field looks symmetrical that it's balanced. You've got to be looking for pools or thick lines of red light which suggests that the energy is not balanced and flowing. And of course these horizontal lines are not a good sign of a balanced field. And imbalances may be present in areas where there's an existing physical issue, and we've also seen imbalances in places where people haven't yet got physical symptoms but they go on to develop them. If you'd like to know more about the BioField Reader online course, please go to our website biofieldimaging.com/training. There's lots of information there, or you can email us on the email here, and certificates are awarded to all students who successfully complete the course. I hope you found this tutorial useful. It was just a very basic outline, how to get you going on analysis. Do have a look at our website for lots of case histories and explanations. There's also the same on the blogspot. Facebook's got some interesting little articles on it, and we've got some videos on YouTube which show the energy field, the biofield in real time. So that's it for now. Bye for now.